Hello, Hingham, and welcome to the 4th of July parade. Welcome, welcome to Main Street. You are looking at what we think is the very beginning of the parade. We know when we hear the sirens that the parade is starting. We're on Main Street, right in front of AZ Studio. This is Harbor Media, Hingham's community media station, Comcast 1072 and Verizon 2131, and live streaming at harbormedia.org and on our new iOS app. I'm Michelle Balconi, Harbor Media Executive Director, and I'm joined by Brian Sullivan. Brian, welcome. It's good to have you back in the co-host
I'm so glad to be back this year. I wasn't sure I'd get the invite, but I'm really happy. This is awesome. It's always so cool to be here when this is happening. So much tradition.
There's our police. Hello, gentlemen. That always signifies the beginning of the parade, and it's Uncle Sam. It's on, everybody. Happy 4th of July. Here's Uncle Sam. Our new Uncle Sam, Paul Callahan. Longtime Uncle Sam, George Ford, has retired and turned over the reins.
So this is probably the first of what maybe, 15, 17, 20 times of being the Grand Marshal. So let's hope he has an awesome run at it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Uncle Sam. You opened it up for us. And as you can see, our cameras are showing Hingham Police Department and Hingham Fire Department making their way, clearing the path, and officially kicking off the 2025 Hingham 4th of July Parade. Oh, there's Opry. There she is, Hingham Police Department's comfort dog. So for our setup today, everyone, you have 7 crew members, and we're capturing this with many cameras. Brian and I will fill in as we can and give you some information about what we're seeing, but we really just want you to enjoy the parade.
You know what I love about this, it's like a Norman Rockwell painting kind of come to life.
It truly is.
Right? And, we've been doing 4th of July parades coast to coast for the longest time, and still you get so many generations, all ages, that show up for these things. I just love it. It's Americana at its best.
We can expect to see approximately 80 bands, floats, trucks, organizations, performers, including 2 Dixieland bands. We have our first band coming down the street right now. Let's listen in.
And this is the Colonial Pipers, in case you were wondering.
We'll soon start to see some of our elected officials come through and the Hingham militia. If you can't tell already by the parade coverage, we have an absolutely perfect day. Harbor Media has been serving the town of Hingham for nearly 15 years now, and many, many years of covering the parade. We went live 4 years ago, And we're able to cover this live through a partnership with AZ Studio. We're right in front of AZ Studio, so we're coming to you live. But I have to say, this is the best weather we've ever had. We've had rain, freezing temperatures, but this is sunny and 72, basically.
You know, I thought it was nice last year, and these past few days, it's just been so hot, and I heard the temperatures are going to be somewhere in the 70s today. I'm like, thank you. Thank God. This is absolutely wonderful. Nice cool breeze blowing through here.
You know, many of you know that the Hingham 4th of July Parade Committee is made up of many, many volunteers to plan and organize this outstanding event that brings the community together, and they do the fundraising. We interviewed Jim Murphy, who's been on the committee for 18 years. He's been chairperson the past 15 years. And it takes quite a bit of funding to pull this off. At least 50%, but maybe closer to 80% of the funding comes from the 50 Flags campaign that was started several years ago. Important to point out, no tax dollars are spent on this parade at all. So this committee truly offers their time and talent to produce such a spectacular event. So we're thankful to the parade committee, and tune in to harbormedia.org. We have a live video on demand, Brian. People can search for any show that they'd like to watch and view that on demand, as well as on our channels, Comcast 1072 and Verizon 2131.
And that's what I was telling people that aren't in the area that want to, hey, I'm going to be co-hosting the parade this year. So how can I watch it? And
there you go, live streaming at harbormedia.org. And just like the parade committee, Harbor Media, actually, we could take a minute to talk about who we are, what we do. Harbor Media is Hingham's local TV station. So we cover public, education, and government programming, and have done so for nearly 15 years. No cable, no taxes are used. We're not tax funded, but we're cable supported and from sponsors and donations. So please think about supporting us. And I see in our framework we actually have, our elected officials are making their way down the route. We should have our select board members, Chair Bill Ramsey, Liz Klein, new select board member Julie Straley, Representative Joan Moschino, and State Senator Patrick O'Connor. I think right behind the elected officials, we'll see them as they pass closer to our cameras.
It looks
I think
like
we can anticipate.
The Hingham Militia.
Yes, exactly.
And for anybody who hasn't seen the Hingham Militia up close and personal doing their reenactments, I've been lucky enough over the past few years to see them, and they're just awesome. And they bring out quite a crowd, and they put on an awesome show for everybody. So it's nice to see him out here on the parade route today.
You can see on our video on demand at harbormedia.org. Type in the keyword Grape Island. Brian Sullivan, sitting next to me, former national reporter, did a special piece for Hingham, actually several, one of which was Grape Island, when he worked with the Hingham Militia to cover that important annual reenactment. Hingham Militia, you should note, is a nonprofit educational organization dedicated to honoring the role of the unit's history since 1637.
And what's nice about it is they also bring in all ages. There are young kids that show up, and they just want to be a part of, the historical event and kind of, teaching the history, the story that people don't know about. Grape Island doesn't get the kind of recognition that a lot of the other things like Lexington and Concord get, but it was extremely important.
Hello to our elected officials on camera. There's our town moderator. And of course, that's the militia giving me quite a start. I'm sure you all heard that at home. Joan Moschino, state representative. And now we have the Hingham Militia in full frame. Brian, a lot of young people are in the militia as well in terms of reenactors.
That's what I'm saying. So you think it's going to be, oh, these old guys that can't let go, they love this. It's like you've got people that are in my age bracket, you've got them older, and then there are high school age kids, and they just love it.
I love it.
Fathers and sons doing this together. I've interviewed several fathers and sons that get together and do this, so it's really neat.
And from a history perspective, the first parade happened in 1827, whereas the parade committee was formed in 1992. Excellent. Now we have our Veteran of the Year, Bob Fournier. Really special to the town of Hingham, special to Harbor Media as well. Bob has been a longtime camera person for local community television and has been part of our Harbor Media crew. We sat down with Bob and interviewed him. You can also find that on our channels, Comcast 1072 and Verizon 2131, and look for it on demand. Bob sat down with us in our state-of-the-art studio in Hingham.
Coming up next, we've got the Hingham Veterans marching in formation, looking sharp.
You can hear the crowd clapping and giving support and praise, recognition for our veterans. Thank you all. From this camera angle, Brian, you really can see how the crowd is really showing up this year for the parade.
Wow. I mean, that's, 7 deep on each side? And then you've got people going up the hills. This is fantastic. And a great day to have a convertible.
Let's jump in.
Although there is some wind, as you can see, with the enormous flag that we've got hanging over Main Street right now. But a cool breeze. It feels fantastic out here today.
You know, our setup in front of AC Studios is also right across from the iconic yellow house of the Hingham Historical Society. And this really kicks off the countdown to America's 250th celebration.
I can't believe it's been that long.
I know, it has.
And in the grand scheme of things, we get to sit at the kids' table.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So I'd mentioned before the 4th of July Parade Committee puts all of this together with a dynamic group of volunteers. That committee was formed in 1992, and the parade has been consistent every year since 1946. After World War II and, of course, the 2020 pandemic, there were brief cancellations. Weir River Water System, we see you, recognize you as part of the town municipal services. So, Brian, last year was your first year in the co-host seat. What are you looking forward to seeing this year that you saw last year?
I always love the fife and drum bands. The more of that, the better. Something about that just kind of pulls at the heartstrings. It's a very special sound. But I think having so many people turn out every year is that also warms my heart. I really like knowing that people care this much about their community still. And it's not relegated to just one age group. It's not just for the kids, and it's not just for the older adults. You've got everything in between, and they show up because they love this town so much.
They do, and I have to say the town of Hingham makes this really fun. Many people ran in the road race this year, and we chatted with Vicki Donnellan from the Hingham Rec Department. Just want to give a shout out to the finishers. Liz Baker from Brighton, Massachusetts won first place, and also Michael Durkin from Cambridge won again.
His second year in a row winning, so congratulations to both of them.
That was 4.47 miles. Let's enjoy this traditional band.
the Crusaders Senior Drum and Bugle Corps. Been around for, 34 years now? Started in 1991.
That was pretty quick math on your part, 9 plus 25.
I'm not as dumb as I seem.
The Corps carries on the traditions of the Most Precious Blood Crusaders of Hyde Park, Massachusetts, and the storied Boston Crusaders.
And here comes the ice hockey champs. All right.
Carrying their own speaker. I love it. State champs. You can see all the smiles and the energy. People are glad to be here. I'm curious about something, Brian. Have you ever been in a parade?
I have never been in a parade, and last year was the first parade I ever attended. Not just the Hingham, first parade ever.
You heard it here. We are responsible at Harbor Media for Brian Sullivan, national reporter, attending his first parade last year. So glad to have you back. I'm glad you had a positive experience and agreed to be in the chair again this year.
Well, more important than being a national reporter with PBS, I did the 5 days in Hingham, and that was my most favorite project I've ever done, ever. And just the way this town comes together for so many different things, it's really impressive.
I love that. I'm glad you're back. We're seeing most patriotic. So we're super happy that this group made their mark on this parade. Girls hockey, most patriotic. And look at their supporters. I am not sure if we'll see any majorettes, if that's not too old of a term, in this parade. But that was my first parade time, being in a parade.
Wait a second.
As a young person.
You were
majorette.
in a parade?
I was in a parade, high school majorette.
All right, what does a majorette do?
We twirl batons.
Oh.
We throw them in the air.
Okay.
Everyone gasps. Oh, this is awesome. I love the hockey nets on the truck. There's a lot of support for our youth hockey programs in Hingham.
And coming up next, we've got Fidelity.
This is the parade committee's lead sponsor, as Jim Murphy talked to us. The 50 Flags campaign is so successful, but they really lean on these corporate sponsors. And thank you to Fidelity. This is their second year supporting the parade committee and making this happen in Hingham. Next up, we have SNAP, our group supporting local athletics.
And, of course, the truck that's the little cart that's selling knickknacks and doodads for parade attendees. Are these Clydesdales horses that we're looking at?
These are the
here?
Clydesdales, who are so elegant, so let's get them up and running.
You don't realize just how big they are until you see them up close and personal. They are enormous.
They're massive. They're beautifully adorned with flowers and braids. From nearby Duxbury, these Clydesdales come to us. That's quite a vehicle.
Yeah, not sure who that is, but what a cool vehicle.
Yeah. There's a lot of energy and enthusiasm. I'm sure the weather played a big role in that, although we've been here in the rain. You know, at Harbor Media, we've covered the parade for many, many years. We went live several years ago, and that was made possible through our partnership with AZ Studio, providing the hardwired connection that allows us to go on television. And we have other supporters as well. We have financial supporters, A.W. Perry, Cheever Tavern, the Cordwainer, and Hingham Institution for Savings, as well as some in-kind sponsors like AZ Studio, Peel Pizza, the Fruit Center, and Sports Tobin. So these folks really help put local programming on television. So that's really what enables us to be here today and cover the parade year after year.
I'm not sure if people, realize just how important it is to have a local access channel like you have here in Hingham. And I've always tried to impart that on anybody I come across. If you're looking for hyper local, tune into your local access channel. And how long have I been here? A couple of years now.
Couple of years. And we'll show you what you're seeing right now, which is a fabulous band, the Roma Band. These musicians are continuing a long-standing tradition to provide crowd-pleasing Italian, patriotic, popular melodies. Let's check it out. They're from the North End here in Hingham.
And I feel like we're at Fenway Park right now. They like an interactive audience. Audience participation.
Well, they got it with that one. That's about as hyper-local as you can get in these parts. Sweet Caroline by the Roma Band out of the North End. We thank you so much. The crowd was really into it and hoping everybody watching enjoyed it. Just so much fun. I have to point out that there are 7 of us. You only see 2 of us on camera, but we actually have a crew of 7 helping bring this to you today. So thank you again for those sponsors who make this happen. Otherwise, we rely on cable funding for our programming. We've also started a new initiative at Harbor Media, and it's called Harbor Media University, where exactly what our crew is doing today, we teach these skills to members of the public. And we're offering all kinds of classes for on-camera talent, for behind-the-scenes producing. We have Hingham's own Michael Page, weatherman extraordinaire, teaching a class the end of the
It's not like that at all, and there's actually a lot of talent that comes out of access channels,
including you, former national reporter Brian Sullivan,
and producer of 5 Days in Hingham. More importantly,
check out that series on our video on demand at harbormedia.org. 5 Days in Hingham. Brian showcased all the fun things to do and where to eat in Hingham.
What was nice about it, I really didn't have to travel too far outside of the realm of the few blocks that make up downtown Hingham. Although I did check out some nature spots and a couple other things, but really everything was kind of confined to this area, and it still, again, has that Norman Rockwell type feel to it that there's a reason people love his paintings. When it comes to life in things like this, even in the day-to-day, there's just something really special about it. And when I did it, I tried to capture that as best I could. And how much people enjoy having their businesses located downtown here, and how important it is to have community and places for people to go, whether it's to get a haircut, get an ice cream, the cut and color, or just do some grocery shopping, get sandwiches, you name it. There's so much of it all within the confines of the downtown area here in Hingham, and this is beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful, and that feeling, that nostalgic feeling, that Norman Rockwell feeling, Brian, you don't find that many places.
Exactly.
I have to say, our family is well traveled. We've also lived in several states and came back to Massachusetts because you do get that feeling. There's so much community involvement that keeps that going. We're showing a shot right now, live shot, of many, many spectators in front of the Hingham Historical Society. And they actually produce a lot of local programming, so you can find much of their programming, their presentations, really interesting features about the Benjamin Lincoln House and other historic properties. We did a documentary with the Hingham Historical Society and aired it this March, based on the Hingham Historical Society's Irish immigration walking tour that they offer in Hingham. And now it's a full-blown documentary.
Coming up next, it looks like we've got the Patriot League champs.
And that would be our wrestling team from Hingham High School.
Now, you are a high school wrestler yourself, right?
Close. High school majorette.
Oh, it's not the same thing.
Not the same thing. I love watching it, though. It's so strategic.
Yes.
These students work really, really hard to perfect their craft and to train.
And it's not always the kids you think that are going to be good at it.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of hard work going on. And Hingham Sports Partnership has done a lot to support all of the athletes, launching the Dock, a place of accessibility and working out for everyone in the programs.
Pretty nice looking float they've got there.
I love it. And the crowd does too.
You know, when you can get people to clap for you, you're doing something good. I'm used to getting boos, which, you know, hey, it's a reaction. I just want the reaction.
I don't think so, Brian. You're very well liked on our channels.
No, it's funny. I graduated college 20 years after I started, and I decided I would do the walk across the stage, and I was so afraid that no one was going to give a reaction. And people actually clapped, and
Well, you can check it off your list. We can see down the parade route coming up the most beautiful Adelia, the Wonder Girl. She was a special part of this community and still really loved by so many. And it's wonderful to see this presence in the parade because it's a part of the Hingham fabric, the organization that resulted. Adelia the Wonder Girl is a new foundation in Hingham, and it aims to raise awareness about pediatric brain cancer and raise really vital funds to advance research for more effective therapies. It was formed in memory of Adelia, a second grader at South Elementary here in Hingham, who battled a rare and aggressive form of brain cancer for 15 months. Adelia passed on in May of 2024, and her presence is forever missed in this community, and we are so happy to see this organization represented. A lot of smiles, memories, and living on the energy that Adelia embodied, according to her family. Here we go with the South Shore Country Club, another gem from the town of Hingham, a great space. Love the outfit.
that's what I wear when I go golfing. It's the Ectomobile. It's a Ghostbusters reference.
Isn't there a Ghostbusters 2?
I think there's a Ghostbusters 10 now.
Oh, 10. I'm behind the times. But the South Shore Country Club is right here with us. They'd love to see you. Got the bowling, golfing, whatever you need, really.
There's the Brewster ambulance.
Recognizable.
Hingham Youth Football, the 2024 season, Bay State Youth Football League, Super Bowl champs.
A lot of pride there in these young ones.
Get them started young.
And here's George Ford. You're used to seeing him as Uncle Sam for many years, I want to say 17. And now George is the 2025 Grand Marshal. We just couldn't let him go. He had to appear in one more parade in this official capacity, not as Uncle Sam, but as the Grand Marshal. Congratulations, George Ford.
Just when he thought he was out, they pulled him back in.
They did. Our Harbor Media crew sat down with George for an interview. On our video on demand and type in George Ford or Grand Marshal and you will find our interview. He's such a great character, and he actually, as we spoke about earlier, helped identify the new Uncle Sam who kicked things off for us, Paul Callahan. So
he scouted his own replacement.
He did. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I hope you'll be here next year, or at least scout your own replacement, Brian. Oh, I love the bagpipes. Here we come.
Who doesn't? And a unicycle. It's not a parade without a unicycle.
Facts. Let's enjoy the old colony bagpipes.
And here's a unicycle.
Genoa Balin, our unicyclist. You know, the Old Colony Highlanders, who we just listened to, they're an intergenerational bagpipe and drum band devoted to fostering the music and culture of the great Highland bagpipes and drums. And they do this through instruction, performance, and competition in southeastern New England and beyond.
Yeah, they come out of Lakeville, Massachusetts, on the south coast. Yeah, not too far.
The kids are getting in the act here with our unicyclist.
Unicyclist and juggler extraordinaire.
How many really difficult things can you do at once? This guy's showing
Hey-o!
Crowd favorite.
I thought he'd be juggling chainsaws this year.
Maybe next year. Actually, I think the parade committee has banned chainsaws.
Backwards and forwards. Impressive.
I feel like unicycling is a core workout.
It would have to be.
There's a lot of balance. Nice. Great shot. Way to go. Nice shot, Connor. We've got Connor on camera capturing this awesome performance.
Yeah, let's not overlook the great work that the crew is doing here from Harbor Media. Without them, this doesn't happen.
That's true. And now we're looking at Christina's shot. Christina is our senior producer for education programming at Harbor Media, and right now she is operating our long-range camera so that we can see what's coming up and show you. Avari performance.
They're proud to join this year's parade with a decorated vehicle and a small walking group, led by children carrying our banner. Our presence reflects the 2025 theme, Building Brighter Futures.
And because of the work they do, the parade committee has paired them with the Commission on Disabilities from Hingham, who you'll see also coming up next after Avari. Because Avari provides coaching and support for parents, students, and neurodivergent individuals. And we have our Commission on Disabilities, who Harbor Media has worked with to offer closed captioning on our programming. So you always have that option when you're watching content on our channels and on our video on demand. So we thank you to Hingham's Commission on Disabilities and working with us to provide greater accessibility to our Hingham viewers. Special Olympics, excellent athlete, thank you. That was a great surprise. Up next, we have our button winner. Brian and I are sporting our 2025 buttons, and each year the parade committee works with local students who would like to send in a design based on this year's theme. This year's winner is Mila, who's a South School 5th grader who designed the button this year. She has the winning design. And Brian, this is the third
this spot in the parade, but they get their button in a placard, and that's something they can hang on to forever.
Check out harbormedia.org and search button winner, and you will see our coverage of all of the past prior button winners going back several years. And specifically, you can see Mila's interview where she talks about where her inspiration came from. And that interview also features the 2024 winner handing off the accolade to this year's winner. So congratulations, Mila, from South School. Mila has a lot of crowd support also.
Does this count as a vintage antique automobile, this VW microbus?
Well, if it does, then I'm also antique, because I remember well the VW buses coming by, seeing them at the beach.
I remember when these were new, with the surfboard and everything.
This is so cute and timeless, really. The Hingham's Women's Club.
And probably a stick shift on the column.
Hingham's Women's Club supports 12 charities, and they produce the annual Festival of Trees, which most people are probably familiar with, to support local charities. Thank you, Hingham Women's Club. Check out Sherry O'Brien and the other stilt walker here. Really interesting. They walk the entire parade route like that.
Yeah, don't discount a lot of the skill that's involved with people who take part in the parade.
So true.
And they do it with ease. I just thought he was really tall.
More of the Women's Club here, getting the crowd really excited. Their theme this year is Santa Supports Our Charities. And they're just reminding people by being in the parade about the work that they do to support local charities, bringing their usual enthusiasm and energy.
It's Christmas in July.
Truly it is. Thank you to the Women's Club. We're anticipating the Hingham Arts Alliance coming up, which we've also done great local programming. You can find out So much information with our interviews and features on Harbor Media with so many of these organizations. We have the Hingham Singers. Let's listen.
I see a theme here. Sweet Caroline.
And here come the Littles, full of energy.
That's youth hockey for you with the hockey-shaped helmet hats.
Pucks. Hockey pucks?
That's hockey pucks. What did I say, hockey? Brian?
I think they were just the precursor to what's coming, Brian. You know, with Hingham Youth Hockey, they had 2 teams win the state championships, 2 teams with a town cup, and 1 team win their conference championship across the mite and squirt age groups. So they've got a winning tradition for sure.
And you know, and when they learn to win young, they hang on to it.
One of my very favorites, I recall from attending my first parade at 6 years old, the Shriners.
Well, their cars are getting smaller and smaller, aren't they?
And the makeup is getting more and more hilarious. The Aleppo Shrine Clowns perform in parades, private businesses, and fundraising events, and they raise money for operations of the Shriners hospitals.
They also spent time at the Shriners Burn Hospital in Boston entertaining children who've fallen victim to tragic accidents, and the Shrine Circus in Wilmington, Massachusetts, every April.
Thank you for all that you do, Shriners, helping others, showing up, providing a service. In the distance, we can hear the mariachi band that gets everybody excited. Definitely a crowd favorite. And as they approach our cameras,
There's a good chance they're going to
let's
play
see
for
about
us
our performance.
until we tip them. It's the world's tiniest Jeep.
The wind is not working in our favor to read signs. So let's discover this group together, shall we, Brian? This might be St. John's Episcopal Church. They have a haunted theme.
This float is kid themed because kids are building our brighter futures. They'll be decked out in red, white, and blue. Surprise, surprise, and have our kids celebrating with a ghostly patriotic dance party. The Monster Mash, as it were.
This is the 5th time that St. John's has had a float in the 4th of July parade. 3 years ago, they won the award for Best in Parade, and last year they won Most Original. This not-so-spooky haunted house has now been a Hingham tradition for 9 years.
And we've got the Little League champs who played at Williamsport.
Play ball, guys.
Decked out in some fine-looking uniforms. Our Little League uniforms were not that good when I was a kid.
There's a lot of support for local sports.
It's like a T-shirt with marker on it when I was...
I can't even imagine the 4th of July without Little League. showing up.
And the Mary Poppins Cabaret. They say life is a cabaret. What do you think?
That's what they say. I'm not there yet, or I'm not good at cabaret. So this is a nonprofit theater arts camp that aims to help children across the South Shore be able to access the arts and produce shows that provide the kids with support opportunities to dance, sing, and act.
And again, all these things, teach them young. Let them enjoy it, and they'll stick with it.
And I think that's something that makes this community so special, is there are so many opportunities, sports, arts, video production with Arbor Media.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of opportunities in this community for young people to explore. And then specific to us, we have a lot of members that are adults and kids have gone to school full time and they're looking for trying new things. There's a lot to try in Hingham. Oh, Best Veterinarian Services, 143 Veterinary Services. Pretty new to the community, celebrating 2 years in business. 143 Veterinary Service is named after the famous Minot Ledge Lighthouse, which is always flashing its signal of 143, I love you.
Small town, big hearts. That's who they are.
This might be our Boston City Band Windjammers coming up after Joe Fisher, longtime select board member and Hinghamite of the Year for 2025. Joe Fisher, there he is. And Christina Schott. Thank you, Christina. Joe Fisher has a long history of participating at many, many levels of Hingham government. Hi, Joe. He's been interviewed by our Harbor Media Stu many times to talk about local events and concerns. And before he recently left, was instrumental in helping with a new public facility building opening this month. Thank you, Joe. The Hingham Anchors 2025 Hinghamite of the Year. There's that iconic yellow extra large golf cart from the Hingham Historical Society. Great to see them. And there's the majorette. There's the majorette. Excellent.
That was you.
Brings back memories. Well done. The Boston City Band Windjammers.
Marching band that performs throughout New England in various parades including this one. So we're thankful that they showed up. About 15 people with a tuba. It's the first tuba I've seen so far.
Nice. SHD Marketing, representing many local businesses on the South Shore and now in the parade.
Here comes the Caddo Supreme.
That might be an old school term, Brian.
Cadillac.
I gotcha.
And that's Elvis behind the wheel.
Elvis is in the parade, people. I can hear the band in the distance. Hingham Community Musical Theater.
We've got the first foot guards coming down the way right now. Ceremonial unit representing the British Army. They participate in parades to honor military traditions and heritage. Boston Parade showcases their precision marching and uniformity.
This looks like the 5th Massachusetts Battery, which is a nonprofit dedicated to the accurate portrayal of an 1860s period field artillery battery, complete with cannon, I should note.
The Civil War artillery units reenacting in the Northeast region with something of interest for everyone. Still an amazing turnout for today's event. All the way down the street, people are just piled up. You can see them up on the church stairs. Just off in the distance, we can actually hear the New Hampshire Pipes and Drums,
which is a nonprofit dedicated to fostering the advancement of pipe band music through performance, competition, and education. And they create an atmosphere in which pipers, drummers, supporters, and leadership all work together in the spirit of mutual respect. And we are enjoying them here today. You can hear them coming down Main Street in Hingham,
just after the folks from the marina make their way through.
That's a great center console, Brian.
Right.
But let's enjoy the New Hampshire Pipes and Drums. More horses. We love horses in the parade, and so does the crowd. You can see the little ones getting excited.
Not quite as big as the Clydesdales earlier, but very nice haircuts.
Still powerful. Some groups to look forward to would be our Scouts, well represented, Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts in Hingham, as well as the Company Theater.
And Bear Cove Museum.
Representing their antique fire trucks, if you've been to the museum.
I have, and it's worth a visit.
Talk about a hidden gem of Hingham.
I stopped there this past fall. I was shooting a story, and I swung over to the museum. I could have stayed all day. In tow, they've got the Pack 4 Scouts. I see Pack 41. Part of Scouting America, an organization that fosters civic engagement, builds character. And we love marching in the 4th of July parade. Pack 41 Hingham Cub Scouts is celebrating its 55th anniversary this year. Quick math, that would be 1970.
Yes, I know that year well.
Was a very good year.
Scouting has a huge presence in Hingham and in the South Shore in general. Thank you to our scouts.
For many kids, it's a part of the, what do they call it? The rite of passage.
I myself was a Girl Scout, who we'll see later on.
Went to school with a couple of kids who made Eagle Scout. They really stuck with it.
Well, I have to step in here.
Uh-oh.
Someone on our crew is an Eagle Scout. Sebastian, who is literally running the show behind the scenes here. Sebastian decides what camera angles you're looking at, checks the audio, and makes sure our feed is up and running on Comcast 1072 and Verizon 2131, as well as at harbormedia.org and our iOS app.
I think you actually have to be an Eagle Scout to do all of those things.
100%. That is true. We are so fortunate at Harbor Media to have Sebastian on our team. Thank you, Sebastian, our Eagle Scout. And sometimes our MacGyver. Sometimes things have to be spliced and diced to show up on television.
I hope everybody still gets the MacGyver reference. If you were part of the generation that missed out on MacGyver, you missed out on a lot. And that was also...
Tell you what, on social media, Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, give us a like and a share if you understand our MacGyver reference. The kids are really, really enjoying the stilt performers. I'm in awe of them. I really don't know how they do that.
And juggle. And juggle.
And juggle.
Do it. Up. There we go. On cue.
On cameras, on Connor's camera.
Hey-o.
There's the beautiful shot from Christina's focus on the flag. We'll go back to that and see what's coming down the street.
And not to be redundant, but you couldn't have asked for nicer weather today. I mean, you could, but you wouldn't have gotten it.
That's happened many times. We'll say it 100 times. This day is beautiful. It's great to see everyone out supporting the Hingham community and this long-standing tradition of the Hingham 4th of July parade. The red, white, and blue stripes down Main Street, always a welcome sight in this community. Our longtime partners, the Company Theater, with live and original productions sung through musicals. We did a documentary with them on their Joan of Arc.
This here, the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
That's coming up for them.
July from the Company Theater. Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame, July 25th through August 17th. Tickets available at thecompanytheater.com. Happy 4th of July from the Company Theater. Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame, July 25th through August 17th.
Talented performers, wonderful performances at the Company Theater. Zoe at the helm, a Hingham resident. Many know Zoe and all the good work that they do. Here are our Hingham Girl Scouts.
The Girl Scouts making their way down. The Girl Scouts has one of the largest numbers of troops in the surrounding towns. The girls appreciate the community's support of their annual cookie sales, myself included, and other events as they learn about our community and find their own ways to support, grow, and be active members of our community.
I love this statistic. For the past cookie season, Hingham Girl Scouts sold 25,872, I was the last two, boxes of cookies. Congratulations.
And what were the cookies? What is your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Well, you gotta go with the Thin Mint.
Thin Mint, huh?
Now, old school reference would be the peanut butter do-si-dos.
Oh, who didn't like the peanut butter do-si-dos?
They're good for dunking.
I like the one with the coconut and the chocolate.
You know, they're not just about selling cookies, Brian.
What?
Throughout the past year, the Hingham Girl Scouts have assisted at the Hingham Food Pantry. They've caroled at various local nursing homes and assisted living facilities, participated in the town-wide community cleanup, and undertaken various award projects, including increasing signage to protect local turtles.
Got to protect the turtles.
They've also created connection and support for local teens. Thank you to the Girl Scouts.
The mounted police force, mounted on bicycles.
Here you go, the Stack Band on a Truck Bed. This musical group was founded by 3 Hingham High School students from the class of 2021. Let's give them a listen.
Actually, 2001. And after a 20-year hiatus, they came back in 2025 with local concerts.
That math makes more sense. Love seeing the rowers represented in the parade as well. Keeps getting back to Harbor Media programming. We did an awesome documentary on the rowing program at the marina. Check it out at harbormedia.org.
I've spent some time with the folks at the rowing club.
Part of your Give Me the Good News series.
It was part of the Give Me the Good News series. And what else? Oh, no, the 5 days. That was the sailing team. But, yeah, the rowing. Well, that's some people committed to the craft.
Now, this group hasn't been in the parade for a long time. It's Harbor Media. So we're in the parade this year. One of our board members, Lisa, hi Lisa, made sure that Harbor Media, your local community television station, would not only be covering the parade live, but actually in the parade as well. Thank you, Lisa. And please check us out at harbormedia.org if you'd like to know more about our public education and government programming. If you'd like to watch us on live streaming or on television, Comcast 1071 and Verizon 2131, and on our iOS app.
And people watching may not have been able to hear it, but it's pretty clear that got the loudest applause of all of the floats that came through.
Not surprising, really. So Williams, thank you, plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. And they are working with Hingham Girls Softball. Again, a lot of representation of local sports. Gets back to there are so many choices for families in this community. So many things.
And no stranger to the parade is the Williams truck here.
We should point out we've talked about Sebastian, our Eagle Scout, running things behind the show. We've talked about Connor's view on the tight camera. And we've talked about Christina's view. She's got the long view of what's coming down the parade. We have 2 other members of our staff that you can't see on camera. And that's Kaylee and Ryan. Ryan running the main camera that's focused on us. We're showing you a lot more of the parade this year instead of us. That's up to Sebastian. If he wants to see us, he'll see us and go with Ryan's view of us. Also, we have Kaylee. And Kaylee's helping us see what is maybe even further. There we are. Sebastian, let us back on screen, Brian.
Kaylee's our periscope.
Kaylee is our periscope. She's showing us what's even sometimes further than Christina's view to help us prepare. She lets us know when there are gaps. We try to show you as much of the parade as possible because we know that's what you want to see. We're just here to help provide a little color commentary and let you enjoy this gorgeous day and this long-standing Hingham tradition.
And Ryan's got ice water in his veins. Cool as a cucumber.
Ryan is cool, calm, and collected.
Well, they say cool as the other side of the pillow.
That's Uncle Cracker. And Kaylee with the whiteboard filling us in. Let's check out the band. The Russell Wiseman Dixieland Band. Thank you all.
And the parade committee, of course. There's a lot of without them, this doesn't happen. And
The parade committee, there's Jim Murphy in the back seat. Here they are, waving to everyone. These are the folks that are volunteering their time and talents to make this happen for this community consistently year after year. We thank you all.
Putting together quite possibly the best parade in the Boston area, if not all of Massachusetts.
I completely agree.
New England even. Who's better than us?
Nobody's better than this parade, I'll tell you that. And the way this community shows up to support the parade and the parade committee showing up. Happy 4th, Leon. Here's the banner for all of the supporters making this happen for the Hingham 4th of July parade. We thank you all. I know the parade committee thanks you all. And we at Harbor Media thank you all. From our crew of 7, if you've been watching on Comcast 1072 and Verizon 2131, that's in high definition. We are one of very few public community media stations in Massachusetts to offer high definition. We also offer live streaming from our website, harbormedia.org, and our new iOS app. So thank you for watching. We would love to see you for many of our initiatives, Harbor Media University, or if you just like to come in and learn on your own time, you can register for a class or let us know when you're available to volunteer, and we'll teach you what we know. We love your support. We appreciate AZ Studios, who made this production happen, as well as the Fruit Center, Peel Pizza, and Sport Tobin, who are in-kind sponsors, and then our financial sponsors, A.W. Perry, Cheever Tavern, the Cordwainer, and Hingham Institution for Savings. We thank you all. I'm personally grateful for Brian Sullivan sitting in the co-host seat. Thank you again,
Boy,
sir.
I tell you what, you carried the show today. You are impressive.
Well, I have the gift
Awesome.
of gab. I hope that our viewers enjoyed everything. Once again, big thank you to our crew, from us to you. That's Kaylee and Ryan, Sebastian, Connor, Christina, Brian, and myself. We'd love to hear from you at harbormedia.org. Signing off, but stay tuned for more 4th of July programming or check it out on our video on demand at harbormedia.org. Take care, everyone.